Interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I am Jim Punzenberger, your host, and with me is George Bardissi on the other side of the screen, hopefully. And this is Profits of IT. I am the creator of the managed prospecting system. If you're looking to generate new leads, either clients or partners, be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com. George has been a prophet in the industry, my guest here, and one of his companies is bvoip, who provides UCaaS and VoIP and other services, and provides it through the channel. And it's been, how many years have you been in the industry, George?
Well, that's a good question, Jim. So I started an IT services, managed services company here in suburban Philadelphia in 2001. Started bvoip in very late 2014. And kind of separated that as a separate company out of my IT services company. And then in mid 2020, that's kind of when the pandemic was among us. I started a third entity called MSP Initiative, which is more of a community-based approach to the channel, and been doing crazy events, parties, road trips, and other channel gatherings under MSP Initiative since August of 2020. So yeah, I've been around the block on multiple sides of the aisle for what seems now a little over 20 years. And man, has it been a journey? And I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of really great people and seen a lot of really cool tech. And I would say I never use profit as a
I used it. You didn't. Let's be clear.
No,
it's not.
cool.
It wasn't something that you told me. I told you.
Yeah, but I would say, for the people that know me well, my predictions, especially when it comes to the channel, have been pretty good. I think I'm batting 1,000. So now maybe it fits. We'll see.
Yeah. So what's something interesting about yourself outside of work?
Well, if anybody follows me on social, I am a huge Philadelphia sports fan, specifically a Philadelphia Philadelphia Eagles season ticket holder. And football and the Eagles are definitely ingrained in the DNA here in Philadelphia area. So if you want to know where I am during the football season, pretty good shot. You just pull up the schedule for the Philadelphia Eagles and you'll know where I'll be.
Wherever the Eagles are, George
Exactly.
is. So, have you been to? If you notice, there's a cheesehead behind me. Probably hard to see, but have you been to Lambeau Field?
I've for some reason missed on my opportunities to go into Lambeau, Eagles, Packers in the Mecca of football, they say. So no, I have passed by. I've seen it from outside, but for some reason, and to my own shame, because I had opportunities and just was like, oh, I'll get to it next time, and you shouldn't do that. But as a guy that's been to almost 20 of the 29 NFL stadiums, that is still on the list, and I definitely need to make it there.
Well, maybe I can meet you at Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra someday. And
I like that. That's a great idea. I hear that they still have wooden benches.
they're not wooden, but they still have benches. So yes, it's not the luxurious padded cushy seats like the modern stadiums have. It is, a big open bowl with metal benches.
I would say the secret sauce would be to go to Lambeau in September and maybe not December.
When it's not frozen, yes. The unfrozen tundra in September, or even like late August for one of the preseason games, would be much more comfortable than, let's say, next week.
Yeah, but hey, as it stands right now when we're recording this, Packers could still be in the playoffs. So we'll see how it works out.
Anyways, George, what would you say is some of your keys to success, and how can others, learn from your success to be more successful themselves?
Um, I think keys to success, right? And some of these I still have to work on, to be honest. But consistency is important, right? Like anybody can come up with an idea, but if you won't actually drive it all the way through and go the distance, those ideas can kind of fade away fairly quickly. I'm super interested in breaking the status quo. So sometimes the path, the blueprint, just the way it's always been done, especially in the channel, I just don't like it, and I like to go against the grain. Sometimes that ruffles people's feathers a bit. It's okay. That's what we do here in Philadelphia area. So sometimes you need to invent new ways, pave new paths. Be a little bit willing to put your neck out there in order to create something new. Of course, that's not easy, and you do have to convince people to come along the journey. But when it does happen, man, it's fun. I think part of the other kind of keys to success is maybe over communicating, especially in this virtual world we've all been accustomed to over the last few years. Um, Blunt force trauma guy, again, another kind of Philadelphia Northeast type thing. Let's put all my cards on the table and just call it how it is. Not everybody likes that style of communication, but over communicating definitely at least lets you know where you stand, good, bad, and different. And I know it sounds silly, but man, if you force the agenda and you can actually get to the conversation and the end result, you'll feel a lot better than just always wondering why something didn't happen. And that's been one of my key success. And then lastly is sometimes you need to invest in yourself, right? Maybe you got to prove an idea out before other people will really bite on or jump on to whatever you're working on. So of course that means you got to work really hard, right? Nobody's going to come do things for you, and some people have the drive and the motivation to do that, and other people don't. Some people don't even like to work full days. So I'm a probably work more than I should guy.
Uh-huh.
But I just when you're after something and you want to prove a point, that's sometimes what it takes. But I will put a little caveat to that. Just working for working's sake doesn't always get you a net result. There still has to be a progress or a plan so that you're not running in place. So you got to have something that you can work towards, but be willing to go the extra mile, put a little bit of extra effort in order to get there, and then the rest will come. But one thing that I can promise you for sure never happens, the whole field of dreams, right? If you
Yep.
build it, it will come, doesn't really play out, right? Like as a guy who's been an MSP, an IT services company, and then been a vendor to IT and
Yes.
MSPs, just showing up at the table or trade show booth promises you nothing, absolutely nothing. So vice versa, if you go to an event and you walk away with nothing, then you're wasting your time as well. So my best advice to everyone, big picture, over communicate, but on the flip side, network, talk to people, actually get in front of people and hold the conversation.
Uh-huh.
And like I think there's where you'll build beneficial links that will pay dividends moving into the future.
Do you have any tips on starting conversations? Like I know a lot of people, even myself included, in the tech space are, really technical in nature, and sometimes feel awkward starting conversations with people. Do you have any tips on, how can a geek start a conversation with somebody and not be so geeky, so to speak?
To be honest with you, you'd be surprised how easy it is to start a conversation, especially if the people that you're talking to are also kind of in the same bubble as you. I think everybody just assumes that the person they're talking to, won't have common ground, and you'll be surprised how often that's not the case. They do have common ground with you. I argue, and some of my good friends in the channel will tell you that the best part of all these events, and there's hundreds of them every year, is maybe not the keynote session or the breakout session or whatever. It's like the actual conversations that happen in the middle of the hallways and at the bar and on the curb. Like that's where lasting conversations happen, and kind of breaks this old concept of what I call castle mentality, right? Like, hey, everybody's my competitor. I'm not going to give away any secret sauce. And, like I'm super special and I'm doing things that other people aren't. And maybe some of that's true, but I think a lot of it isn't. And I think if you're willing to say, like just say, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? Hey, I'm curious. What are you doing for this? Or struggling in this area. Have
Uh-huh.
you guys been able to succeed here? Or, checking out this new tool or service. Have you played with it at all? I'm curious if it actually works. If you just literally open up conversations like that,
So it
it actually turns into pretty good.
sounds like you just say hi and ask a
Mm.
question about something that you can assume that they would be interested in or have some
Yeah,
knowledge
and
about.
it's just like that. And all of a sudden, you're off and you're running, and like those conversations kind of like expand and like take interesting routes as you kind of go through. So I think get out of the basement, the man cave, the back seat of the car, kind of fixing something, the garage. Let's get into like, hey, just having a human being conversation. And I would challenge you that if you do that, you'll find that people are maybe not in the same area, in different parts of even the world, not even the state or the country, are running into the same exact challenges that you're running into. And now all of a sudden you're learning from other people rather than doing it the hard way every single time. Trust me, there's a benefit from learning, that other people have figured it out so that you don't have to do it the hard way.
Got it. So any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
No, hey, I mean, what you do is pretty cool, right? You help people with lead generation, which is great because like I think part of the problem in channel land is like pretty technical people, end up starting businesses because technology is what they're good at.
Yep,
But you're in business to make money, not to work for free. And so revenue and
absolutely.
net and new revenue and new customers are a big part of that story for any business, any business. So that has to be something that maybe is a little bit more formalized and planned around, so that you're not waiting for a referral all the time for whatever could be your next client. But that being said, there's a lot of smart people out there, and frankly, there's a lot of people that are absolutely willing to help you, experts in a lot of different various kind of parts of the story. So if you stay and in your man cave or the basement all the time, and you're not actually reaching out to figure out what's next, learning the next technology, learning the best practice, understanding the math, figuring out how to generate new customers, these are the things that help you mature. And I think we're all in various levels of maturity in our business, but if you don't actually move forward, you might get stuck in what I mentioned earlier. You're just on a treadmill. And if you're doing a lot of work and you're underneath the desk and you're plugging in cables and you're doing all the heavy lifting on nights, weekends, and holidays, and you're not having a life outside of that, so what some could argue that you're on a treadmill and there's no progress. So there is some light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to actually progress through it.
Got it. So George, I guess an opportunity here to for networking or an ask. Who would you like to talk to? Or it sounds like maybe there might be MSPs watching this that could benefit from your community that you mentioned. Uh, like who would be good to reach out to you? Why should
Sure.
they reach out to you? How should they
Perfect.
do it?
Two avenues, right? So bvoip, we're a channel only unified communications voice over IP and integration company. So if you are you probably have a lot of tools that you're using to run your IT services or managed services company. If you haven't integrated that into a communications platform, and then also don't have a platform that you can confidently offer to your end customers without worrying about channel conflict, or if you're just not making money at all doing it, bvoip could be an answer for you. It's built specifically for the IT and MSP community, and the business model is perfectly designed for that. And the technology that comes along with that may actually shock you, because making the phone ring is pretty easy to do. I think we do a lot of other cool things. So check us out at bvoip, bvoip.com. And then definitely, if you're interested in learning more about the channel and getting out into the community, check out mspinitiative.com, where we do channel events and pretty cool parties and a lot of networking around the channel. And I think you'd be interested in potentially 2 upcoming events we're doing here in 2023 called MSP Community Minds. We're bringing experts from all over the industry into 2 in-person events so that you can get past a bullet point on a PowerPoint slide, on a projector screen, and actually something tangible should come out of it for you in one of many categories. So those are the 2 things to check out: bvoip.com and mspinitiative.com.
Well, thank you, George. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and being a prophet in the channel. It's been a lot of fun having you on here today.
Appreciate it, Jim. And like I said, we'll have to look at the schedule when it comes out in April, and maybe we'll circle that Eagles Green Bay
that's
outing. That would be awesome.
That would be great. And
appreciate you, my friend.
Until then, I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. Be sure to check out managedprospectingsystem.com if you're looking for new clients or partners.
Thank you for tuning in to the Prophets of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.